Stay on top of stories about stocks that may impact the market or your portfolio today in Stocks Making News.
Well, Ambarella has been a real tech mover lately, and now they've indicated they want to move into yet another interesting area. Tracey, Ryniec, Dave Bartosiak here with me once again to discuss all of this. Tracey, for those who don't know, the company Ambarella makes the chips that power GoPro's wearable video cameras, at least part of what they do.
Right.
And now the company wants to try to align itself with drones of all things, right? So what do you think? Is this going to represent more significant growth for them?
Well, they need to diversify because they are pretty much tied into GoPro. We don't know how much because they won't even say, but let's just say they are clearly their biggest customer.
Okay.
So they need to kind of bust out of that and get into these other areas where video is now becoming, a big in thing. And the drone area is certainly that. I mean, we think of the drones as, people are just flying them over these sporting events or whatever.
Right.
But why are they flying them over? Because they're videotaping it. And then you have a lot of professionals who are using it and putting cameras on board there to also take, stunning pictures and things like that. So obviously video is the next big thing. And then they also just had this acquisition over the summer where they acquired VisLabs for $30 million.
Right.
A small little PhD run research firm basically, but their technology involves basically drivable cars.
Right.
So that could be something that could really add to the bottom line, several years off from now, but that's another way to diversify the business.
Some have said that was going to give them some competitive edge too.
Right. Right. They need to have, they really got that with GoPro because they met the CEO way early on when he was first starting that company, and they made a nice joint venture basically to make the GoPro dream come to life. And now they need to branch out from that and also get in on the ground floor on some of these other new technologies. I'm putting up the earnings estimates here because you can see that they started to come down a little bit this year. The analysts are getting, not quite as bullish, and a little bit for next year. They did miss last quarter, and that was their first miss since their very first earnings report. And, I think people were starting to get a little nervous from last quarter. They had the miss. They guided down lower because GoPro's not having any new products coming out in the near term, and they're such a big customer of theirs. So people started to get a little bit nervous here. Dave's going to talk about the chart, but valuation-wise, if you're an investor, this is kind of what you want to see. I mean, it was fairly expensive for this stock, even though you do have growth. You're getting 54% earnings growth still for this year. That's pretty solid. But it was fairly expensive before. Now it's trading about 29 times on the forward PE level. That's not so bad for a high growth company that's in these kind of cutting edge technologies.
Well, let's bring Dave into this on that note. Dave, the company overall has had robust revenue growth, okay? Largely solid financial position is what they have with reasonable debt levels by most measures, notable return on equity. But some analysts out there feel a bit nervous because they say it's trading at a little bit of a premium valuation when you compare it to the earnings and to the book value. What do you think?
Well, I mean, a lot of this downturn here in the stock was the GoPro story because everybody was freaking out because they thought that Ambarella was a one-trick pony. So that's why you saw kind of this top happen and this thing slide off and sell off substantially. And now it looks like hopefully we've reached a little bit of a bottom here around $70. If you look at the chart, you see on the left side I got those red, those red kind of horizontal lines there. That's volume at price indicator, so that shows you where the actual volume took place along this chart at what price level versus what day. Okay, so a lot of it went out around $70, so there was support there. That's kind of where we're at today, I think. I don't know. We were up like 6% a couple days ago or yesterday. It was up that I saw early morning. So we'll see if that continues. But I think what's happening here is that people are starting to realize that it's not just a GoPro story, right? Now, if they really get in this commercial drone thing, that could be a big deal. And there's kind of that unknown with the latest acquisition, right? It's like, well, where does that go? Is it just for, the autonomous cars, or could there be something else? I mean, you combine that with drone technology, and now you got something all together. So that's an exciting story. Stock's starting to rebound a bit. It's what you want to see from a technical perspective.
Okay, so yesterday was September 15th. We're sitting here talking on September 16th. So overall, do the positives outweigh the negatives on this?
I think so.
I actually think so too, even though I'm the value investor here. So I look at that 29 PE and I get a little nervous, but with that kind of growth, if I'm looking for a growth and not a value stock, I kind of like where they sit right now.
All right. Well,
yeah, you look at the commercial drone story, that's a catalyst here.
Right.
So that kind of like, knocks you into a different phase on this chart. We're not in that, oh my God, what's going to happen mode. Now it's like it started from zero all over again when we got down below $70. So I think this is going to be a momentum story for the next few weeks or months.
Yeah, we'll see how it shapes up. Thanks to both of you. And if you are out there in syndication land watching our videos, we just want to remind you that if you're watching on the YouTube platform, you can always subscribe to our videos there and comment on them from that platform. If you want to see other videos on our website, by all means get on over to Zacks.com. You can link to them right off the homepage. With Dave and Tracey, I'm Terry Ruffalo.